section in your second chapter of your book. If you haven't looked at the introduction to trigonometry, I suggest you have a quick glance at that, because I'm going to assume that you understand what it is that I'm talking about right now. Okay, so in that video we talked about how we name sides here. If this is the angle we're looking at, right, this is the opposite side. You shoot at the angle, that's the opposite side. This is the adjacent side, it's the side, and the hypotenuse is always the long side. It is opposite that right angle. Now, I guess it depends what angle we're looking at, because sometimes we might be looking at this angle up here. And if we look at that angle up there, then the one thing that doesn't change is the hypotenuse. But this now, the bottom becomes my opposite, and this angle is the side, so the O and the H change. And what also might confuse you sometimes is when we have a triangle that is in a different orientation. Okay? This is the right angle. If I'm looking at this angle right here, can you identify what's O, what's A, and what's H? Okay, that is crucial in doing these questions. So hopefully you can see the long side is right here, and it's always opposite the right angle, so that's the H. The other one, the O, is relatively easy to find too, because you just shoot out your angle and you hit the opposite side. And the other one that touches this angle is the A. And that would, again, these two would change again if I was talking about that angle there. So this is one concept that you need to grasp before we can move on, or by the end of this chapter you're going to have to make sure that you know how to do that. Okay, so what we have here, the first ratio we're going to look at is what we call the tangent ratio. And the tangent ratio compares the opposite to the adjacent. Okay, it's always going to be tangent, and what we do is we take tangent of our angles. Okay, so tangent of the angle will be the opposite side over the adjacent side. Okay, that's the ratio. Remember I talked about three ratios. We can compare these two, we can compare these two, or we can compare these two. And we're looking at this first ratio, opposite to the adjacent side. And the ratio of these two sides, the ratio of the opposite side to the adjacent side, depends on what this angle is, right? If it's bigger, what happens to your O and your A, right? This side becomes longer, this side becomes shorter, so the larger your angle, the larger the tangent ratio. Let's look at our table. Look at the tan, right? Small angle 0. As your angle increases, your tangent ratio increases as well, okay? All the way up till we get to 1, all right? Actually, no, it goes even higher. Sorry, that's for 45 degrees. And then it starts over here, 46 degrees. We keep going up, okay? So as the angle gets bigger, your ratio gets bigger, okay? Now, let's look at how we're going to do this. So first of all, if I gave you a triangle that looked like this, and I was looking at that angle there. So let's actually not even do that. Let's go D, E, and F. F being my right angle. Now, if I asked you to find, well, let's put some numbers in here, 3, 4, and 5. Let's just use a 3, 4, 5 triangle. Okay, Pythagorean triplet, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I asked you to find tan D, what two sides would you compare? What's your opposite and what's your adjacent? And again, if I asked you for tan E, what would be the two sides that you use? So if this is D, the tan is opposite over adjacent, so it's going to be the 3 over the 4. And if I'm looking for the tangent of angle E, well, now we switch it around. This is the opposite, and this is the adjacent. So it becomes 4 over 3. Okay? That's the very first thing that we need to do. Now, what we want to do is we actually want to find the angle. Find the angles. Okay? So let's look at D. I know that tan D is equal to 3 over 4. Now, if you did the math here, you'd get 0.75. I'm going to show you something here very cool, okay? The ratio of this side to this side is 0.75. Well, that's what these numbers are on here. Can you find a number in here that's 0.75? The closest one you find is right here, right? 0.75, just a little bit, this is a little bit more, so my guess is going to be around 36 point something, right? Well, how do we do this? We do it on our calculators. Turn our calculators on first of all, and what you do, see the tan button? Hold on, how am I going to do this here? Okay. Well, what I'm looking to do, wait, I can sort this out. There we go. So, what I'm looking is to find the angle. So what happens is you go tan minus 1 of 0.75, and that's going to equal D. And tan minus 1 is above your tan button. So you're going to go second tan of 0.75, and boom, there's your answer. Close to 37 degrees like we just said, right? 0.75 right here, just below 37, 36.9 to be exact. So that's 36.9 degrees. That's the size of that angle.